My name is Nelisiwe Kanide and this is my student card. I'll be presenting a poster of an automatic plant watering system that I've implemented. I decided to design this project concerning the dry plants that lack frequent watering. Now on how the system works. The system will be watering plants during the day when the soil is dry. The soil moisture sensor detects the moisture level of the soil. When the soil is dry, it senses a low moisture level and activates the water pump which supplies water to the plants. The soil becomes wet when plants receive enough water and the soil and the sensor detects a high moisture level. After the system detects sufficient water in the soil, the relay closes the electric path and the water pump switches off automatically. Now this is the part of the project that I've added on my own. I added an LCD to monitor the status of the soil, the pump, and the temperature. When the soil moisture level is high or low, the system will alert the users by the use of an LED light. When the soil moisture level is low, the red LED turns on. When the soil moisture level is high, the green LED turns on. The LDR identifies the presence of the light intensity as the system works only at daytime. Now the components that I'm going to use is the soil moisture sensor, LM35 temperature sensor, LDR as a light sensor, water pump, 1 channel 5 volts relay module, and 16 by 2 I2C LCD. Now coming to the block diagram. On this side we have the inputs. I have the soil moisture sensor, temperature sensor, and LDR. This is the power supply. In the middle we have the microprocessor, which is an Arduino Uno. On this side I have the outputs. The outputs I have the LCD display, which will be monitoring the status of the sensors, and the relay module, which acts as a switch to switch on and off the water pump. And on this side I have an LED, the LEDs to here we have the LEDs to alert the users. Now the parts that I've circled are the ones that I've added on my own. Coming to the circuit diagram. On the circuit diagram we have an Arduino board, breadboard, and the sensors that I'm going to use are connected as analog inputs. And our LCD has SDA pin and SCM pin connected to analog inputs as analog outputs. Now we have the LEDs as digital outputs and a relay. This is the water pump and a 12 volt DC supply to supply the water pump. Here is my flow diagram explaining on how the project works. Here we start, then it displays a startup message to the LCD screen. It prints automatic plant watering system. Then we read the sensor values. The sensors we have is a soil moisture sensor, temperature sensor, and an LDR. With the soil moisture sensor, the decision is if sensor value is less or equals to the limit. It prints soil moisture is equals to, and the red LED turns on, the pump is on, and prints the message to the LCD that the pump is on. Else, it prints soil moisture is equals to 10 green LED on, the pump is off, and prints pump off to the LCD screen. With the temperature sensor, the decision is if the sensor value is less or equals to 25 degrees Celsius, it prints temp is equals to C, and the pump is off and prints pump off to the LCD screen. Else, it prints temp is equals to C and the pump is on, printing pump on to the LCD screen. With the LDR, if sensor value is less or equals to 300, it turns on the yellow LED, else it turns off the yellow LED. And I return again and do the same process. Now we have the results. With the results, we have the dry soil condition, wet soil, sensor disconnected, and when the sensor is in water. Now from the results that we have obtained, we'll see that On this side is when it is bright, on this side is when it's dark. Now when it's bright, the temperature is high, and when it's dark, the temperature is low. The output of the soil moisture sensor ranges from 0 to 1023. As the range is between 0 to 1023, with the dry soil, the range of the dry soil is from 600 to 1000. Now here we have 943, which is within the range. Now the soil is dry. Here is the wet soil. The wet soil ranges from 370 to 600. Here we have 381 as our soil moisture value, and it's within the range. Now the soil is humid. When the sensor is disconnected, it's when the soil value is greater than 1000. Now we have 1020 here as our value, meaning the sensor is disconnected. When the sensor is inside water, the range is from 0 to 370. Now here we have 347, which is within the range, meaning the sensor is in water. All these values, all these results are displayed on the serial port. Now I'm demonstrating on how my project works. When we start, it prints automatic plant monitoring system to the screen. The soil moisture value is 1020, meaning the soil sensor is disconnected, and the orange LED turns on. When the temperature is greater than 25 degrees Celsius, the pump should be off. Now we're going to the wet soil. When the soil is wet, the soil sensor value is 466 and the pump is off. The green LED is on. Going to when the sensor is inside water. When the sensor is inside water, the soil moisture value is 270 and the blue LED is on. Going to when the soil is dry. When the soil is dry, the value is 926 and the pump is on and the red LED is on. Now the yellow LED is off, meaning it's bright. When it's dark, it should be on. Now it's dark and the yellow LED is on. Thank you.